really excited about this little turning project I've got going. It's made out of ash, more specifically a piece of ash crotch. Look at the beautiful grain. It's a little lidded box. So what I'll do eventually is I'll part the lid off the top, hollow the base. That's going to sit on there. Now, this just screams for an accent that will go up here on the top of the box, a little button, just to help pop the top just a little bit. I'm going to do that with a chunk of Antler. So we got to cover a bunch of things here. One is working with the Antler here on the lathe to turn it so it works with the turning I have here. Also, the adhesive that we need, we've got dissimilar stuff going here. We've got Antler, we've got ash. So we want to make sure that we're using the correct glue in order to bond those parts together. And you'll see I'm actually going to turn the Antler after it's put in there. So it's got to be a good strong bond so everything stays together through the turning process. First step of the operation, I'm going to cut this tine off. That's the one I'm going to use for this project. Then we'll come back and start on the lathe getting this component turned. I've got the tine in a 4-jaw chuck here, and what I want to do initially is just a little bit of rounding here at the bottom. It's a little bit eccentric because it's got some high spots. One of the things you want to do with this is make sure you're using high-speed steel cutters. Antler is hard stuff, so tool steel isn't going to hold up real well against it. Just gentle approaches here as I work on getting it a little bit rounder. The goal is to put a tenon on the bottom of this piece that fits into the hole that you saw in the top of the box. Then we'll glue those components together and we'll actually finish this turning right on the top of the box. We're a little less eccentric, closer to round. Antler's a pretty cool product to turn. It doesn't have any grain, but you do have to watch the core of it. I'll show you here. Sometimes in the very center it's a little bit spongy, and you got to be careful about that just because it gets soft. But this is a great piece. It's nice and solid all the way through. All right, we're ready for sizing. So now what I'm going to do is just go to a parting tool, and like I said, we'll produce a tenon on the end here that fits into the hole we've got in the box. Caught an edge, went a little eccentric there. And it is one of the unique things about working with this weird stuff that can happen because the shape of the Antler, it's hard to get a perfect grab on it with the 4-jaw chuck. I think we're a little big still, which is good. Yep. All right, let's see where we're at now. A real accurate way to check this is with calipers. So I can put this side inside the hole. Those are the inside part of the calipers. Put this side on my tenon. We're really close, just got to skin a little bit off of there. We are pretty close, close enough that I want to bring the box itself over. The very end of the tenon's going right in the hole, so I'm going to skin just a little bit more off there. Now the other thing I want to point out is that whether I'm working with Antler or something else, when I make a button like this, what I want to do is undercut this shoulder just a little bit to make sure that it makes good contact with the top of the box. So I'd rather this part is concave than convex. So I'm going to take care of that. Just a little bit more off the tenon. That's probably about enough. Let's see what we've got. If you do undercut it just a tiny bit, you're still going to be okay, because we're going to use a medium viscosity glue to put it in, and that'll give you a little bit of gap filling capability. All right, hear that? That's the sound of a nice fit. All right. So the antler can come out. Now what I'm going to do, just to kind of create an easy way to hold everything together, is get the box itself back on the lathe. Protect the bed of the lathe from any glue drips. Like I said, we've got dissimilar surfaces here. So we're going to use CA, cyanoacrylate glue. It's going to do a great job of holding them together. It is a little bit gap filling. If we get just a little bit of squeeze out running down the lid, that doesn't bother me, because we're going to turn all of this together again after the antler is in place. That takes care of that. Now we'll give that just a little bit of time to dry, then we can come back and wrap up the accent here on top of the box. Well, the glue is dry. I took that long end off here, I cut that off. Now I'm just working on my shaping. And now beauty's in the eye of the beholder. It's just a matter of applying a shape to this that you like. Kind of amazing, you know, we're doing all this turning on that antler with just the bond between that small tenon and the top of the box, holding everything in place. Let's see what we have so far. That's pretty cool. I'm going to keep working on that. It's a little oversized right now. It's bigger than I want it to be. I'm going to end up with just a bit of a button on there that you can grab onto, take the lid off the box. So an antler accent like this is a pretty cool addition to the lid of a box. Great thing that you can add to boxes. And whether it's antler or some other non-conventional material, CA glue does a great job of holding it in place so that we can finish turning it.